from China. Welcome to the second Beyond Expo panel discussion. I'm CGTN News presenter Li Jianhua, and for this session, the topic will be what is the priority of drug discovery. I'm pleased to be joined today by Mr. Huang Hai, CEO of humankind Biotechnology. Welcome.
Hello, Jianhua.
And also Mr. Jin Song, Vice President of Sino Biopharm. Welcome to the panel discussion. Great to have you here. And also we have Dr. Shi Dongmei, Vice President and Head of Merck R&D China. Welcome, a great welcome to the three of you. And before we get started, I have got this number. According to UN projections, the current life expectancy for the world in 2022, this year, stands at nearly 73 years. And we know the rise of life expectancy usually comes with high demands for medical and healthcare industry. So you three represent some industry leaders in the healthcare sector in China and beyond. So I have tons of questions to answer all of you here. And let's start with the lazy Dr. Shi Dongmei over here. So our topic is the priority of drug discovery. So what's your understanding of it? What do you think should be the priority now?
Well, that is a really good question. And also, honestly, I don't think I'm the best person to answer this as a medical oncologist, and I think I'm more appropriate for all the drug development topic. But for the discovery, so from medical doctor perspective, and I think the most important is how to find the right biomarker, and also how to find what is the both target for the potential indication that we are targeting. So that for that one, I think most important from all the standing point of the discovery. And also, following process is also critical, but I think the target biomarker is always the first priority from my end.
Good point, good stuff. And now let's move on to Mr. Huang Hai. So what's your understanding of it? What do you think should be the priority right now from your understanding? Something to...
Thank you. First off, humankind products, CAR TCL, have been very successful in treating blood cancer. The priority from now on is to enable the revolution cancer treatment technology to benefit more patients. Toward this end, there are several priorities in our research and development programs. First is developing new better products that can expand CAR T treatment for additional blood cancer and other liver cancers. This is the first. So many clinical trials are ongoing to test these new products and new indications. The second is developing technologies that can reduce price and to make this product affordable. So this is including new technologies for more efficient manufacturing process, and as well as a new type of CAR T-cell therapies that are not individually. So can universal CAR that can be used offset. And with the successful CAR treatment for blood cancer, now is proactive, we develop effective CAR T products for solid tumor, which affect much larger patients populations. There are different clinical challenges for treat solid tumor than blood cancer. We are developing technology to overcome these challenges. We foresee breakthrough in the near future in this area. There are now clinical trial indications. The promise of the revolutionary CAR T-cell therapy to cure cancer. So one of the top priority is what we understand and what are key future cancer cure that has been observed in some patients. Then develop technology to this future. We are hope for cancer cure. It be developed by our industry. So I think innovation for cell therapy, even for cancer cure, is our priority. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. I know that humankind is dedicated to the advancement of innovative cell therapy. And of course, you have this movement called Yes Carter, and later we'll go back to that question. And now let's move on to Mr. Jin Song over here, who is the Vice President of Sino Biopharm. So what's your understanding of it? I know that your company has a lot of focus, including oncology, hepatitis, cardio, cerebral, and respiratory systems. So what do you think should be the priority right now, especially at this point when coronavirus is still quite rampant?
好的，谢谢主持人。这个对于新药研发的这个首要任务啊，我想在业界不同的企业。
Drug discovery, in terms of its priority, different companies have different focuses in the industry. But most recently, China's focus, the government's focus on new drug discovery has been quite clear. For example, last year, there was a new guideline that was issued by the government that provided a very clear direction for various pharmaceutical companies to develop innovative drugs and conduct clinical trials to fulfill unmet clinical needs in order to provide safer, more convenient, and more effective therapeutic options. So this has also been a long-standing and consistent priority for us at Sino Biopharm. For example, in oncology, we all know that including cancers with lung, stomach, and kidney, and there's only medicine to control the progression, but no cure for these cancers. And so we focus a lot on the development of cancer drugs. So we put these developments at the top priority. For example, we have a number of medicines for oncology that are indicated for a number of cancers. And these are in clinical trial stage, and once they are approved in the future, we believe it will provide very good options for patients. We're also looking at innovation in a number of other areas, especially with hepatitis B, which is also a very important public health issue. A lot of the existing therapies can't really address the issue completely. So we are focusing on developing new drugs to address this issue, to develop effective cures and meet the needs of the market and patients. In terms of respiratory diseases, we are looking at chronic respiratory diseases to develop innovative drugs to treat these diseases, to fulfill the long-term needs of patients. So from our standpoint, our top priority with innovative drug discovery and development is to fulfill unmet needs in the market for patients to better treat diseases. Thank you.
We know that you have a lot of focus on hepatitis and especially, as mentioned, the clinical trials. And of course, your three companies have all like different areas in your research and development. And I have this question for Dr. Shidongmei over here. So much of Merck's focus is on endocrinology, immunology, and oncology. Yeah, the same thing, the same area that you have with Sinopharm here is that oncology. And in 2021 alone, investment in research and development stood at around 2.4 billion euros. And that's a lot of money. In the meantime, Merck serves as a provider of raw materials. I know that is one of your specialties for all of the medical companies and enterprises around the world. So can you further elaborate on that?
Okay, thanks for the question. But before I clarify regarding how the healthcare and the status, I'd like to clarify first regarding on the structure of the Merck. Actually, in Merck, we have three different sectors, including healthcare. This is why I'm here. and another one is life science and electronic. So what we see, the material is actually from the life science, and also life science not only provides the material for the drug development, but also they are providing a lot of material to the, for example, the Pfizer's COVID vaccine, and also they are providing some genome analyze and also a lot of CDX material. So, but back to the healthcare R&D. So actually, I would mention a little bit that actually we have totally different landscape comparing the already marketed product and in pipeline product. So for the marketed product, actually our strongest business actually is from CM&E, from the cardiovascular, from endocrine disease, and another one actually is from fertility. And I think is we have the most strong position over the world in the fertility area, which is to helping the couples to have children. I think this is also in line with what China's central government is trying to boosting this area. And also we saw, I think in August, a series of policies released to boost this area. So another one is actually what in line with the inland pipeline is the oncology, immunology, and the neurology, and also including some rare disease. This is currently the R&D focus. So back to the oncology, I think oncology pipeline, we are a little bit different. So first we have a very, very good platform, research platform to deliver the biologics, bispecific biologics, and also we even have bispecific ADCs. And another platform from oncology is we have a very, very strong DDR pipeline, so which is already in the phase 2 stage, and we are targeting to have a very near filing in the next 2 years. And also we have a pretty interesting licensed in molecules, for example, xaviapent, which this is can synergize with the chemo and radiation therapy. And now we're already in the 2 big phase 3 stage in the head and neck squamous. So for oncology, we will have more products to come to the POC and phase 3 ends in the next few years. So for immunology, we also have several very promising products. For example, we have the first-in-class TL78, and which already in the CLE and SLE, so the lupus global phase 2 stage. So in the POC stage, and China is part of that. And also we have another 2 very good portfolio, which means tacicept. So I think Runchang have a similar molecule with ours, but they already get the SLE already marketed in China, I think 2 years ago. So we need to catch up. And also for neurology, we have we are trying to be the first in class BTKI in RMS. So, and also this already very close about 2 phase 3 stage. And besides MS, also we have a new licensed in the similar molecule, but in different formulation. And we're trying to indicate or further develop in other neurology and also immunology indications. So in general, we have a pretty enriched pipeline in oncology, neurology, and immunology. So, and also we're looking forward to have a more collaboration, not only with the international pharmas, but also to have with the local pharmas. So this
you talked about immunology and oncology, and I know that 2 very important areas of your research and development. And you also mentioned a very interesting point, that is the COVID vaccine. So I think you have brought up this very interesting question when it comes to COVID prevention. So I have this question for 3 of you here. So when it comes to COVID vaccine, what has your company been doing to stem the spread of coronavirus? Let's just start with you again. Yeah, Dr. Fu.
Okay.
So, yeah. So when it comes to COVID, I mean, long COVID is a problem for many people, actually, not only in China, but in other parts of the world. What do you think should be done to stem the spread of long COVID? And I know there would be a lot of other symptoms after the COVID. So what are they and what we have been doing?
Okay, that's a good question. So actually at the beginning of 2020, so when we have the COVID, and what the market do is trying to have a kind of overview of our internal pipeline, so which molecule may have the potential. So no matter from to prevent the symptoms or to reduce the symptoms, but honestly, we do not have any vaccine basis to develop a real COVID vaccine. That's why we're trying to synergize our internal pipelines to prevent the symptoms. And also we do one clinical trial. So actually leveraging our BTKI. So what I said that in the late phase 3 RMS study, so this molecule also have the potential to reduce the symptoms, especially for the patient who have mild or pretty severe symptoms patients. But honestly, after the phase 1 expansion, so we see that this really some patients can benefit, but it's not reached our permanent point. So that's why we put it on hold. So this is so that's why we changed the direction to our life science, because we can provide a lot of materials. So that's why we are one of the key contributor to biotech Pfizer's COVID vaccine. And then I think this already benefit the patient, all the population of the world. So that's what Merck could do.
Yeah, that is what you have been doing, a provider of raw materials for many international medical enterprises. And I have this same question for Mr. Jian-Song over here. I know that one of your areas, your specialties, is respiratory system. So what have you been doing to deal with COVID at this point? Hello?
I'm sorry, I didn't open the microphone. Okay, I think
So since the outbreak of the pandemic of COVID, it has impacted societies everywhere, and also caught the attention of the pharmaceutical industry. Effective prevention and curing the diseases related to the pandemic has become a top priority for our industry. For infectious diseases, the most important thing should be prevention. And it will be the most effective way for on a public health perspective to prevent the contagion of the disease. So in terms of prevention and treatment, as you all know, in the very beginning of the pandemic, we put in a lot of investment into the development of Sinovacs. And we provided a lot of resources and assistance to facilitate the rapid launch of Sinovac. And consequently, we also worked with many partners. We also focused closely on the treatment drugs for COVID, and we made some new drug discoveries and are now in the process of clinical trial stage 2 in the US, and we are also applying for second stage clinical trial here in China. We believe that the discovery of the new mechanism that we are currently undertaking will lead to very good results in the prevention and treatment of COVID. So looking forward to the completion of the second and third stage.
I know that your company is dedicated to innovative cell therapy, as you said just now. Especially there is this, you call it, the treatment is called Yescarta. It is the first approved CAR T-cell therapy for adult patients with certain types of, you call it non-Hodgkin lymphoma. But before that, how about long COVID? We have been talking about COVID vaccine, and what has your company been doing?
For my company, we have some challenges is different versus normal drugs. Firstly, the supply chain is very, very important for cell therapy. So it's a timing we enhance our supply chain. Actually, during the COVID challenge in Shanghai, we are doing very well. And secondly is we need to see whether for one site, an additional plan B have additional site to fulfill the needs in the market. You know, for cancer, for blood cancer, even with the COVID challenges, but the cancer is there. They need the support. So yes, hard. We did a very good, especially COVID-19 challenges. Our teams stay in the manufacturing and keep after the drugs. So yes, CAR get the FDA approval, and they have the same challenges, but China, our side, is doing much better, even versus the US. And also,
you talk about supply chain. That is one of the difficulties you are faced with right now. And here we have Dr. Xu Dongmei, who said that her company is a provider of raw materials for many companies, and I know that you are part of the supply chain over here. So what do you have on that, Dr. Xu?
Okay.
I don't know if you three know each other, but you are all in this healthcare management industry. Probably you know each other, and then Mr. Huang said that supply chain is a problem. So how about your contribution to the supply chain? You said that you're a provider of raw materials.
Yeah, so I would say the supply chain is a super huge challenge to all the pharmaceuticals, for all the supply chain, I would say. So the good thing is we trying to we're trying to have plan A and plan B for almost all the business. So just to reduce the risk of some like the COVID city shutdown, so this kind of emergencies or urgent things. So because we have a plan A and plan B almost for every step of the clinical supply chain, so that's why during the past 3 years of COVID, so we still could work it out, fund one of the potential possible solutions to provide the raw materials due to some company. We do have some challenge. I remember, I think in end of May of last year, early to May of 2021, we do also facing the challenges, but we also know this raw material is super important to all the partner companies. That's why globally and also in China, we did a lot of efforts to do that. And also, I think also our supply chain, our manufacturer side, a lot of employees, they sacrificed a lot. So for example, they living in the manufacturer side, trying to secure that the on-time clinical supply chain, and also make sure finally will benefit the patient. So I would say the first, I think in summary, 2 points. Firstly, we have plan A and plan B. Sometimes we will have plan C and D, so which makes that we can have a pretty smoothly readiness to meet the customer's requirement. And secondly, that our supply chain is mainly contributed by all the employees, their dedication and also their hard work during the COVID period. So this is what I want to share.
Yeah, so I mean, you are a provider of raw materials. I don't know, this is probably industry secret. So do you provide any raw materials for the rest of 2 companies we have here, Pharma and Fosun Kite? You don't?
Honestly, as to my knowledge, maybe we do not have so much close collaboration, but that's also the meaning of this meeting, that maybe in the future we can have more collaboration.
Yeah, that is why we have this panel discussion here, and also the platform of Beyond Expo. I think probably that could be conducive to the collaboration of different companies. Yeah, that's a very interesting topic over here. I hope that it will help. And now let's move on to Mr. Jin Song over here. So I have this question, very interesting one. Revenue versus innovation. Which one do you think is more important?
Thank you
very much for asking that question. Well, there are a lot of thinkings around this point. Revenue, innovation, which is more important to a company, which is on top of others, the other. I do believe that pharmaceutical companies pay a lot of attention to revenue and the steady growth of revenue. But I have to say the steady growth of the revenues should be solidly based on innovation. My company is an innovation-based pharmaceutical company, so from my point of view, I do believe that science and technology can create value. It is one of the core principles we adhere to. I believe that the idea of science and technology creates value. It is a very good explanation of the relationship between revenue and innovation. We should put these two targets together, commit resources to innovative efforts to make sure that there is a qualitative improvement over our staff, over the medical devices, science and technology. Well, last year we invested 3.2 billion yuan into our R&D activities. That accounted for 16% of our total revenue, and that represents a 35% of the increase in R&D spending. We are increasing our R&D investment and funding over the years. In the key therapeutic areas, our innovative products account for 50% of the total products in the portfolio pipeline, and our innovative drugs will register more than 10 billion RMB, 10 billion yuan of revenue. Innovation is the source of corporate development. Our revenue is the result of innovation. So we must build our revenue on innovation. That is the way to ensure the long-term sustainable development of the company. And eventually, innovation will be able to facilitate more innovative efforts and result in the future. There's no contradiction between innovation and revenue. Innovation is the source. Revenue is the natural result. As a company, well, these 2 points must be organically integrated in its overall corporate strategy to ensure that the company is solidly built on innovation. That's my personal point of view. Thank you.
Actually, they should be combined, right? And it will create, and according to Sino Biopharm's 2022 interim results, in 2023, as you said just now, revenues from innovative drugs are expected to surpass 10 billion. I mean, that's some big bucks. And I have this question for all of you three. So when it comes to sustainable development, I think that is very important. I know a lot of money will be invested in R&D, research and development. In the meantime, it will generate some, revenues. And then how can you make sure that you can balance the revenue, and also in the meantime, you can make sure that high quality and inexpensive medicines are available for all of the patients for you? So let's go to Mr. Huang Hai over here.
Oh, I like the questions. As a pharmaceutical company, even we as a cell therapy company leading this area, I think our vision and mission is saving patients' lives. So what the cell therapy can do is just saving more patients. Mm-hmm. So under this, we are lucky because of the Fosun Pharma. They have the global view. They select the cell therapy as an investor, be the JV. So I invested in this area. Then also during the COVID challenges, they make us have a plan B, invest another manufacturing site in Shanghai. It means we want to serve and cover more patients. As a blood cancer, in the first have significantly survey for the patients by the cell therapy. We are now saving at least, I think, close to 300 patients. So it means our focus on saving patients' life and our expand our site, invest this area is very, very important to cover more patients. Mm-hmm. So linked to Macaulay meeting, what we are thinking about, not only in mainland China, we also build a lot of the sites to treatment patients close to Macau in Guangdong and even in Shenzhen cities. We can give the service to the patients. So I think it's good for us to think about how to balance the innovation and how to balance the benefit, the margin. The most important is saving patients' life. Thank you.
Yeah, a very quick question for you. I know that at the end of May this year for your company, over 80 treatment centers in China offer this treatment, as you said, CAR-T cell therapy. Is this growing as fast as expected? Any difficulties in promoting this type of cancer treatment at this point?
Thank you for the question. Actually, we not only build the numbers now in the 80 hospitals, but this year we will cover 80 hospitals. Yes.
Okay.
This year we will cover 150. Each of the top province, top hospitals, they have the cell therapy. And this is the first. We want to make the coverage and serving more patients. It achieve our goals. This is the first. And the second, we not only set the treatment center, we build the global stand. So even beyond the global stand, we have a globally third-party certification companies to training the system to help the hospital build the global stand, how to set the cell therapy center. So it's another even beyond the therapy, even beyond the currently what affordability is beyond we are developing this area because cell therapy is different versus other therapies. The third is we are want to serve not only mainland but also Hong Kong and Macau. So this is why in Hong Kong, in Shenzhen, we build 3 center of the excellence, focus on treat Hong Kong patients, and in Guangzhou we have Huaqiao hospitals, even Guangdong. A lot of the big hospitals is the top 5 hospitals to serve Hong Kong and Macau. So it means it's also, I think, align Fuxing International. They want to be 2 parts. Firstly, the mainland, and another is globally. So it's I think it's really align our mission.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, definitely it is expanding. And now I have this question, the same question for Dr. Xu Dongmei over here. So what do you think should be done to make sure that inexpensive medicines can be available to all patients?
Okay, actually, I think the 2 leaders already mentioned a lot. I think from market perspective, first of all, I think our mission is always to doing the first-in-class or best-in-class drug to serve our patient. And secondly, I think is how to balance so I think the price is related to how many patients we can serve and how good of this drug, and then how is the cost of the entire development R&D development process. So from that perspective, actually Merck have very accurate models to calculate that. So when we want to develop one molecule and we have appropriate indication implant, and then we will have very accurate model to forecast. So what will be how many patients we could benefit and how should be the price we could have. Also, we need to considering the entire the cost and also the upcoming revenue. So back to that, and I think it's also very linked to the regulatory requirement in each country, which linked to how is the development cost, linked to how is the sample size and how we could design the clinical trial. So, and also how will be the country level or regional level of reimbursement policy. So I think it's a super complex topics, but I think what we can do as R&D people is we're trying to deliver the best and first-in-class drugs and to really serve the unmet medical need. So this is what we can do. And also from company level, we are trying to reduce the profit and also to do our best to serve as more patients as we can with the lowest price that we could do.
Okay, so based on your experience, a quick question, follow-up question. What's your expectation on the reform and progress of drug review and approval in China? I know that you have been doing this for quite a while.
Okay, maybe starting from the lady first. Okay, so actually from market, I think thanks for the last 5 years of regulation revolution. So I think we have already a lot of changes compared to 5 or 7 years ago. So now we have a pretty fast CT review stage. And the ND review is also much accelerated than before. But I do think that from the ND review stage, we still have room to further improve. This is one. Another one actually also related to the drug review. This is not only drug review, but also we have the CMDE for all the different device and technical review. For that point of view, I think also we still have much room to further improve. Mm-hmm. And also from we do have a lot of green channels and for different criteria of therapies, but I'm still expecting in the future we could have more and more. For example, more disease will be listed in the rare disease list, and more drugs, especially for we really have an urgent medical need, could also be listed in the list, and then we can leverage all those kind of policies to benefit as more patients as we can.
Yeah, how about Mr. Jinsong? The same question for you. You have 30 seconds. Sorry, the time is quite limited. How about you? When it comes to drug review and approval?
好，谢谢主持人。这个
Well, thank you very much for the question. Well, this is a very good question. Well, actually, I visited Director Kong in CDE to understand some of the latest development of the policies. But I agree with what Madam Shi just said. Well, indeed, talking about the speed of approval, well, I think the Chinese standard is catching up with international standard. And there is a significant improvement over the administrative approval of the drugs in China. CDE has issued more than 400 policies or directives directing the review and approval of the drugs that provides the regulatory frameworks for the pharmaceutical companies to follow. Of course, there is much room for improvement. Basically, there are 2 points. First of all, I think there should be a full integration of ICH so that the Chinese standard will be compliant with the international standard. With the unification of the domestic standards with the international standards, that will help to accelerate the rapid launch of some novel drugs and new drugs. The second point is that there should be a significant increase in the financial resources and personnel in CDE. In the United States, the FDA has some more than 7,000 people reviewing and approving all types of drugs. In China, the number is only 700. We got only 700 headcounts to do, well, approximately the same amount of workload as their counterparts in the US do. So we need to increase the headcount, increase the resources for CDE in order to speed up the review and approval process.
Enterprises, but also some government policies. And how about Wang Hai? The last question to you, the same question, and you have 30 seconds. And sorry, the time is quite limited. We're running out of time now. How about you when it comes to drug review and approval?
I fully agree with Mr. Jin and Ms. Shi mentioned. First, I think NMPA and the CDE did a lot of great job, especially for our country. From China, we want to focus and we speed our innovative pharmaceutical areas. So a lot of the leads on the table, but the resource still need to increase, especially for the headcount, for the CDE, for NMPA, a lot of the department. And the second is I think from overall the China, or not only mainland, but Macau and Hong Kong, now CDE approval drugs cannot execute in Macau and Hong Kong. I think we need from the CD and NMPA approval one drug. They also can cover Hong Kong and Macau market. It's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much to the three of you. Thank you for today's discussion. Wonderful and good stuff. And once again, that is Mr. Huang Hai, CEO of Humankind Technology, and also Mr. Jian Song, Vice President of Sino Biopharma, and also Dr. Shidong Mei, Vice President and Head of Merck R&D China. And hopefully that this discussion, the panel discussion, will be conducive to the collaboration among the three companies of yours. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 谢谢。